For many thousands of years, the Shadow Men have protected the world of the living against threats crossing over from the spiritual plane known as Deadside, the place where everyone goes without exception when they die. Michael Leroy is the current heir to the mysteries of this ancient lineage, bearer of the Mask of Shadows. When darkness falls, he becomes the walker between the worlds, immortal voodoo warrior, taker of souls, lord of Deadside, the Shadow Man.
Hey, welcome! Hello, my sweetnesses, and welcome to a new Let's Play. This is Shadow Man, game from the early PS1 era, kind of one of the more revolutionary horror games from the era. It's usually ranked alongside, you get like, there's like a trinity of horror from this era. It's Resident Evil, Soul Reaver, and this. Now, Soul Reaver and obviously Resident Evil have a bit more of a fan base. They have a bit more longevity than Shadow Man does. But it was recently remastered and re-released on the PS4. So here it is. You're gonna have to forgive certain things. It is an old game. Even though it's been remastered, it is an old game. And one of the things that you're definitely going to have to forgive is the voice acting. Some of it's very good, some of it is very, very, very bad. This is from an era when voice acting wasn't really much of a thing in video games, you know? Configure controls. Oh, I like a slightly more sensitive control myself. That's just the way I am. That'll do. What else have we got? No, that's fine. Get back. Okay, it's been an age since I last played this game, and the last format I played it on was the PC, way back when. But let's dive in. This is lots of fun. I don't know what the remaster is like. I know it's bigger than the original game.
The 9th of November, 1888. By my deeds am I known, and I am known as Jack. Spring-heeled Jack. Jack the Ripper. By my
Jack
deeds
the Ripper.
am I known.
Bit of cotton going on there. Truly bloody.
I took them all to my heart. Mary Ann Nichols, Annie Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, Catherine Eddowes, Mary Kelly.
Yeah, the victims of Jack the Ripper.
Truly love them all.
Yes, there are
But
serial
the
killers in
power
this
I
game.
sought within the sordid confines of their bodies, the still beating organ of the soul, was not to be found. The ritual of the knife was to no avail.
This is very
I am
beautiful.
bereft,
Oh,
and
there he
must
is.
therefore perform that bloody ritual upon myself.
Again,
Stay your
PS1
hand,
era.
Jack, and listen to what I have to say.
How did you find this place? Who are you?
My name is Legion, for we are many. The immortal power that you seek does exist. It does indeed lie within the soul, but only within certain ones, certain dark souls.
My God! What are you that you can produce such things from thin air?
Merely an explorer, much like yourself.
What is it that you want from me?
You are an architect by trade, are you not?
I am.
Then I would have you build a cathedral to pain. A place where you and I and others like us may join together. A place of asylum for all of the unique and misunderstood individuals that will follow you as the time of Armageddon approaches. And at the heart of Asylum, we shall construct a great dark engine powered by souls of equal hue. And we shall harness their power to create an immortal army to punish and cleanse this pathetic world.
And where
Sounds
might
fun.
I build this cathedral of yours?
Across the veil, in the darkness, amongst the restless spirits of those who have passed beyond, in the place known as Deadside.
Then,
Honestly,
if I'm to
love
join you,
the
I
metaphysics
must
of this
die.
game. Love
is
it.
prophecy. We cannot fail, for we are many.
I love the
For
bloody
we
lips.
are many.
Oh. Well.
Amen to that.
That looked like it really hurt. God, I know it looks crude, but honestly, this has had a massive graphical update from the original. It really has.
Come to mama, baby.
Hey there, catface.
Ah, the serial killers.
There's a darkness coming.
What's the problem, Magneta?
I had a dream, Shadow Man. A real bad dream. A dead side dream. The five are here. The heralds of the apocalypse. Beacon's file confirms everything I feared. The end's coming, Shadow Man. An ancient prophecy tells of the return of a great evil to Deadside. A terrible force gathering dark souls to its darker heart and using their power to cross over into this world and bring about apocalypse.
There's not much
I must
subtlety
stop
in the
this evil
storytelling.
from bringing
There really
about
isn't.
the end of all things.
Only you can do it, Shadow Man. You are the walker between the worlds. I can't go Deadside, and Jaunty's next to useless in both worlds.
Oh yeah, we'll meet
You are the only
Jaunty.
one who can do anything about this.
As it ever was.
But you ain't never confronted anything like this evil. It's so pure, not even the ancient protectors of the Dark Souls could destroy it. They could only banish it from Deadside. They knew it'd come back one day. Hence the prophecy telling of its return.
Hence,
The power of the ancients is all but gone now, and the Dark Souls that evil desires lie unprotected. What you gotta do, Shadow Man, is to go Deadside and recover the Dark Souls.
Oh, there you
Take them
go.
into your own protection before evil gathers them to its terrible heart.
Okay, so let me get this straight. If I don't recover these dark souls, then the world's gonna end. Am I right?
You got it.
Shit.
Look, I gotta go. I've got a lot to do. Take Deacon's file and meet me at dawn at the church on the hill. I've kept your stuff safe for you.
Okay, well, there we are. That's the opening to Shadow
I
Man.
hate this shit. Just a pawn in Nettie's master plan. She moves me in mysterious ways. And brother, sometimes she really does move me.
Ah,
Can't do nothing about it since, nice as you please, she knitted my ribs into the mask of shadows. I got nothing left anyways. It's my fault Luke's dead, and Mom and Pop too. I deserve everything I get. Every bad thing that comes my way. Can't live, can't die. Deadside's the perfect good for me. A nowhere place. The asshole of the universe.
I love that. I love that so much. So, Deadside is where everyone goes when you die. There's no eschatology here. There's no morality or anything. It doesn't matter who you are, what you do, what you believe.
Now, where
You're
the
going to
hell
end
is
up
that
in
church?
Deadside. Oh, wow, my God. Oh, shit, the controls. Bloody hell. I haven't played a game like this in years. Oh, this feels very familiar. Now, these little things, they are collectibles. This game's very interestingly structured. So, it's not open world as such, but it's more open world than a lot of games from this era. Deadside and Liveside are two halves of the same environment, and manipulating things in one changes the other, a bit like Soul Reaver. Also, it's a collectathon. It's one of those old games where you've got to get everything, a bit like Mario 64 and whatnot. You've got to collect all of these things. These are flambeaux. You can collect these to up your life a little later on. These things are Gettys. They're the containers of the Dark Souls. But I don't have the means of breaking them yet. I need to be Shadow Man in order to do that. Can you hear it beating? Listen, if I get close to it. Isn't that cool? That's beautiful, isn't it? It controls really well. For a game of its age, it's actually... Well, that's useful, isn't it? It's controlling rather beautifully, I've got to say. I wonder if that's due to the update. It's very fluid and very smooth. I'm rather pleased. I thought it might be a bit graunchy, a bit old hat, you know? It feels good, and you know... For a game of its age, it looks rather good, doesn't it? It's got a good old bit of style to it, which I like. Bit of old-fashioned platforming here. So, in Liveside at daytime, you're Michael Loire, this guy, this skinny little guy, who is next to useless at everything, basically. He is going to get gunned down, murdered, ripped apart by anything he faces and sent back to Deadside. Oh, there's a dog over there. And there's the church where we'll find Agneta. When he goes to Deadside, he becomes the Shadow Man. And the Shadow Man is just a lot better. Ooh. That's a little creepy. Yeah, huh? These things, the birds weren't here in the original. That's for damn sure. Oh my god, this is, Oh, hello. Can you see? There's another Dark Soul down there. I'm going to have to remember that. Do I have anything at the moment? Let me have a look. Ah ha ha! The file. Now, this is the file of a private detective that Agneta employs named Deacon. It contains information on all of the serial killers who are part and parcel of this game. Thomas Deacon PI, private investigators. Agneta, here is the information you requested regarding the 5 serial killers, referred to by yourself as the 5. My research has led me into areas I do not normally pursue. No demon spore Asmodeus as far as I can see. That's a reference to the comics, by the way. Shadow Man is derived very, very, very loosely from a series of comics. My sources tell me that each report is as current as it can be, especially the reports on Batrachian, Cruz, and Pike. Batrachian's an odd name. That means frog-like. Probably a reference to H.P. Lovecraft, who uses the term all the time. The Batrachian report is particularly up-to-date, with a news item included that is only a week old. When studying the information, of particular note is the inclusion of symbols and poems at the crime scenes, along with the phrase, "For we are many." Obviously a reference to Legion. Taken, I believe, from the Bible. Yes, Mark chapter 5, verse 9. Are these guys in cahoots, or is it simply coincidence? Knowing you as I do, Nettie, I cannot believe it's the latter. Anyway, hope this stuff proves useful. Best regards, Tom Deacon. So, Dr. Victor Karl Batrachian. Aliases, Dr. Arthur Falkus, Dr. Gunther Schaden, Dr. Wilhelm Karsch, and Dr. Gerhard Muller. Date of birth, April the 8th, 1961. Sex male, blah, 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 blah. Background, born Geneva, Switzerland, the son of a wealthy Swiss banker. A brilliant student, Batrachian graduated from Cambridge University in 1986 with a PhD in forensic psychiatry. He's the Hannibal Lecter of the group. Doctoral thesis defining ASPD, the psychopathology of antisocial personality disorder. Batrachian spent the following 4 years at the London Medical School training to become a general practitioner, MD. Was expelled from the school without completing the course, exact details unavailable. Emigrated to US in early 1991, using forged certificates to gain green card. Established medical practice in Boston, 1993, using the name Dr. Arthur Falkus in partnership with Dr. Sean McRose. McRose was found dead in suspicious circumstances in 1994. Dr. Falkus subsequently disappeared with several $1,000s of the practice's money. Batrachian resurfaced 6 months later as Dr. Gunther Schaden with a new medical practice in South Bend, Ohio. Was indicted on 5 counts of murder following the discovery of an insurance fraud involving 5 of his patients, all wealthy widows who had willed him their entire fortunes, and was subsequently found dead of natural causes. This game was before Dr. Harold Shipman here in the UK was discovered, so that wouldn't be a reference to him. That would just be a startling coincidence. Batrachian, as their doctor, had signed all 5 death certificates, very like Dr. Harold Shipman, who wouldn't be discovered until at least, a few years later. Very interesting. Captured by state police as he was about to cross the state line into Indiana, Batrachian absconded from the Butler County Sheriff's Office after killing 2 deputies and wounding a 3rd. At this point, December 1995, Batrachian appeared on the FBI's most wanted list. In December 96, a handwritten letter with an Abilene postmark arrived at the offices of the Dallas Morning News. See attachment number 1. In it, the writer intimated, somewhat obscurely, that they intended to commit several blood sacrifices. The writer of the letter has since been identified as Batrachian. In January 1996, the corpse of a young man, never satisfactorily identified, was discovered in a derelict boathouse on the shores of Lake Fort Phantom Hill, Texas. Forensic examinations show that the head of the corpse is quite literally exploded, as though from some great and unnatural internal pressure. A strange symbol, figure 1, had been branded onto the left side of the victim's chest. Over the next year and a half, 12 more murders followed, all with the same modus operandi: exploded head and the left side of the chest branded with the symbol. Possible reference to scanners? FBI agents captured Batrachian in August 1997. He was subsequently convicted on 15 counts of first-degree murder and sentenced to die in the electric chair. He is currently on death row at Gardell County Penitentiary, awaiting the results of his second appeal and achieving a certain notoriety in artistic circles with what he calls his asylum installations, figure 2. Indeed, London's Golgotha Art Gallery recently bought one of his schismata paintings for several $1,000s. Wow. So there's figure 1, that's the symbol of the Lizard King, and figure 2, that is actually some stuff he has actually designed for the asylum. Attachment number 1, letter to Dallas Morning News, handwritten identified as belonging to Victor Batrachian. Dear Sir, I have brought his kingdom to earth, and a bloody cleansing is nigh. Indeed, it is well overdue. I am the leader of the 5, the watchers at the gate of souls. We shall make the way for the coming of his glorious army, and as a fanfare we demand several sacrifices. Blood sacrifices for his pleasure. So be aware then that the road to your Golgotha shall be slippery with your blood, for we are many. I remain as ever disrespectfully yours, the Lizard King. Attachment number 2, update news story from front page of Clearford Chronicle, dated 1 week ago. Mass killer masterminds prison siege. Mass killer Dr. Victor Batrachian is the mastermind behind the 3-day-old siege of Gardell County Penitentiary. Batrachian, who has been on death row for the past 2 years, convicted in 1987 for the murder of 15 people, has become something of a celebrity in artistic circles with his schismata paintings and what he terms his asylum installations. Details are sketchy, but it appears that last Thursday evening, Batrachian was momentarily left alone in the prison's art studio. When the guard returned, he was nowhere to be found. After killing 4 guards and a trustee, Batrachian managed to override the security systems in the maximum security wing, releasing over 300 prisoners from their cells. The condition of the 25 hostages taken by the prisoners is unknown. Gardell Penitentiary is currently surrounded by 150 National Guardsmen, and several elite SWAT teams are on standby, but as yet they have not been given the order to go in. Okay, attachment number 3, poem found at crime scene, clutched in hand of victim. The Lizard King shall lead the 5, from out the southern jail shall cut his bloody swathe. True hate shall find a way, in him the darkness stands revealed. His eyes as void as a dead man's gaze, as cold as the light from a dying star, for we are many. Not much of a poem, really. Serial killer number 2, Marco Roberto Cruz, aliases. Robert Cirilla, Brian Gellert, Jesus Moretta, Max Clayton, Solomon Solly Fripp. Okay, background. From February to November 1986, Marco Roberto Cruz kidnapped and murdered 10 people, preying on couples mainly in and around Death Valley and the Mojave Desert. Cruz forced his victims off the road in his armored pickup and disabled them with a cattle prod, prior to stowing the bodies in the back of the pickup and towing away the victims' crashed vehicles. The license plates of each vehicle were found fixed to a billboard or road sign near the crime scene. Certain elements of the Zodiac killer there. Following the disappearance of Ricky Franks and his girlfriend Roberta A. Gray on August 31st, 1996, an item of Miss Gray's clothing was discovered weighted down by 5 small rocks on the roadside 9 miles north of Kelso, Southern California. Written carefully in blood on the item of clothing was the following poem. For in the western deserts he finds a form. He is the child with the mouth of blood, the bleakness before the beginning of time. He is the glint of ice in a murderer's eye, the savage heart of every crime. For we are many. That was a better poem than Batrachian's. Ironically, Cruz actually worked as a repo man for 5 years. He also worked as a DJ and had an auto shop business at one time. Served 7 years for armed robbery and aggravated assault, no previous convictions for homicide, but was implicated in several killings with lack of evidence to convict. The following symbol was found carved into the back of each victim's license plate. There we are, the Repo Man Killer. There's the sign. Serial killer number 3, Milton T. Pike, aliases Bobby McCardle, Bobby McNabb, Billy Joe Balboa, Franklin P. Tyndall, Rocky Mason, and Shalimar Waters. Background, Vietnam veteran, 1971 to 73, Green Beret, Special Forces, electronic countermeasures expert, dishonorably discharged in 73 following alleged rape of a female officer. Upon discharge, worked as a TV repairman, 1974 to 80, indicted in the shooting of his mother, Francine Pike, in 1979, but was acquitted due to lack of evidence. Joined American Knights of the Cross, survivalist militia group in 1980. 1981, formed own breakaway splinter group, Knights of the American Heartland, KAH, with fortified compound located near Eureka, Florida. The identifying symbol of the KAH is remarkably similar to the cross spears symbol. See attachment 1C, found on stickers affixed to the videotape sent by the video nasty offender to various state police officials. KAH incorporated into a National Militia Organization in 1982, with subsequent expulsion later that year following Pike's murder of 18 of his own militiamen with a rocket-propelled grenade. So this one isn't subtle. Returned briefly to TV repair business 1982 to 84, and during this time the FBI discovered that he subscribed to every known electronics-based periodical and magazine. Became forest ranger in 1986 under assumed name Franklin P. Tyndall, working in Cypress National Preserve in the Everglades with a specialty in alligator preservation. In 1991 was arrested following the rape murder of a hiker in the Cypress National Preserve, escaped from custody, killing 2 sheriff's deputies in the process. These serial killer profiles are really well done. They're really well done. They read very much like the profiles of pre-existing serial killers, and if you know about certain serial killers, there are definite references. Pike's whereabouts are known from 1991 to 1996. From December 1996 to September 1996, Pike murdered 9 women, disposing of their bodies in numerous locations. Bloody hell. My God, all around the same age. That's interesting. Pike was known by the sobriquet a video nasty killer due to the fact that state police in all of the states mentioned above were the unfortunate recipients of videotapes showing in horrific detail the hunting down and subsequent slaughter of at least 6 of the above victims. Contact traces found on the bodies indicated that the victims were murdered in a location other than the disposal sites. Disposal sites are all booby-trapped with a harmless yet complex lighting array activated by tripwire or pressure pads. Each victim had the word asylum carved vertically into their back, and each victim had been found with a microchip embedded in the flesh of the right palm. Under extreme magnification, the following message can be read, the words imprinted microscopically onto the chip itself. And lo, if war should have a face, this one of 5 would show that bleeding mask. Ears pricked to savour every scream, teeth bare to strip the carcass wet, and tongue to lap that vessel dry, for we are many. That's also a better poem than the one that Batrachian wrote. Attachment 1C, photograph of cross spear symbol affixed to videotape sent to state police. Yeah, well, now both the game and indeed the time it's describing kind of shows its age as well, doesn't it? I'm not telling you what a videotape is. Serial killer report number 4, criminal profile of serial offender known as the home improvement killer. Artist's impression background. It is estimated that the offender known as the home improvement killer has so far murdered 12 people of both sexes over a period of 2 years in and around the New York area. A peculiar facet of this offender's signature behavior is that he leaves behind the skull of a baby canary. Hidden inside the skull is a piece of rolled up paper torn from a notebook. Written neatly on the paper is in black ink is a poem, attachment 2A, beneath which is drawn an arcane symbol. Figure 1. There's figure 1. Profile. A reclusive individual, white male in his late 20s, of low intelligence with a background in carpentry. Anyone who knows about their serial killers will tell you that he's inspired by Ed Gein, right? Introverted personality, Ed Gein. Has a strong misogynist tendency, Ed Gein, with particular emphasis on mother resentment verging on psychosis. Well, this is less inspired and more sort of transposed directly. Disorganized in his personal life, yet highly organized insofar as his modus operandi for each killing is concerned. Again, Ed Gein. All of which seem to have taken place at night. Sightings. Suspect possibly seen leaving the scene of the crime westbound along Braddock Avenue in the early hours of August 30th, 1999. Description given, white male, 26 to 30, dark brown hair, pale complexion, possibly wearing night vision goggles. Prime suspect Avery Marks, aliases Mark Aviary, Alan Hickox. Okay, background. Indicted in 1997 for attacking a young woman in Greenwich Village, disappeared while on bail paid for by mother. Also wanted for subsequent murder of Mrs. Cassie Marks, offender's widowed mother. February 1998. Victim found in darkened bedroom. Offender had apparently switched off the power in her apartment house. Known to keep birds. Present whereabouts unknown. Attachment photo of furniture, which is clearly like human skin, right? Poem found at crime scene, rolled up neatly inside skull of baby canary. From the east the idiot monster cometh, with nails to announce its blasphemous intent. In still dark chambers it awaits the shadow. Even body scars of power, dark messiah with a hideous strength, for we are many. Again, a better poem than Batrachian's. A Batrachian is meant to be the lector of the group. You know, he's meant to be the smart one. Serial killer report number 5. This offender, known as Jack 2, for reasons that will become evident later in this report, preys solely on women, striking late at night in the early hours of the morning, on or near London Underground stations in the east of London. The offender so far has murdered 4 women, and if you look, they are they are analogous to the victims of the original Jack the Ripper. When compared against the 5 murders perpetrated in London between August 31st and November 9th, 1888, by the offender known as Jack the Ripper, we can see some striking similarities. Yes, we can. As can be seen when comparing the above lists, all the latest victims have very similar names to the original victims, and the recent locations, when looked at on a map of London, are very close to the 1888 murder sites. There are further similarities in that the recent murders by Jack II have almost identical MOs to the 1888 killings profiles. The frenzy of each attack seems to indicate a highly disturbed individual who is sexually and socially inadequate, with extreme misogynist tendencies. Well, that's unusual. It's not at all for serial killers. Channeling his anger against women. Post-mortem mutilation shows no medical knowledge. Offender is an introverted loner who will pass unnoticed through his chosen killing grounds, and as such will definitely return to the scenes of his crime sightings. The similarities between this case and the one in 1888 extend the appearance of the two offenders. Compare the artist's impression of the offender at the beginning of this report, based on a description offered by a witness who saw Anna Chaplin, a known prostitute, talking to a man outside Shoreditch Station on the night of September 8th, with that of the man in Figure 2, a contemporary impression of Jack the Ripper. Prime suspect. Scotland Yard has no prime suspects at present. That's because it's not a copycat. It is Jack the Ripper himself, reborn. Discovered scrawled in white chalk on a wall near Whitechapel Station on the morning following the murder of Mary Nicholas. The watchers at the Gate of Souls shall make the way. The 5 are red in tooth and claw, the head, the heart, the hands, the teeth, the eyes. All combined to create the 5, for we are many. Discovered scrawled in white chalk on a wall near Shoreditch Station in the morning following the murder of Anna Chaplin. The knife shall carve its bloody ritual, a sanguinary return to a darker place. Flesh running cold with the shedding of tears, to shred, to cut, to slice, to know. The weeping wound and its glooming soul, for we are many. Okay, well, that's it, I think. Very, very cool. There is the profile on the 5. Very cool, right? I'm sure you'll agree. Go away, birds. Okay. These flies, these were here in the original, but I don't recall them being so abundant. Ew. There is a real sense of dirt in this game, which I really like. There's a sort of filthiness to it that I just... Yeah, can you hear that? That's another Dark Soul. We need to get as many of them as we can, but we... Ooh, butterflies. We won't be getting these ones for a long while. Ooh. Oh, cool. Huh? There we go. Yeah, Mike is a little agile, but not that agile, really. I love the soundscape in this game. It's so cool. Of course, you have to bear in mind, because, you know, this was very early on in 3D video gaming, and certainly in 3D horror. So the creators had to use what was available to them to evoke atmosphere, and they do it by sound, by lighting, all sorts of things. It's very sophisticated, despite the way it looks. It's actually rather sophisticated. Uh-oh.
Made it.
Hey, Doges. Hello, Doges. Oh dear. Oh fuck. Oh. Ah. This is the church, but I'm just going to check around and see if there's anything else I can get. Go away, Doge. I don't think there is at the moment. Go away, Doges. Oh yes, there is. Hang on, I'll have that. Thank you. Anything else? Not right now. The Doges are Agnetta's personal guards. Okay. Let's go talk to Aggie and see what she's got to say.
Nettie?
Nettie.
Hello, Mike.
Hello.
Glad you could make it.
How could I refuse your offer? How could I ever refuse you, Agneta?
You can't. I'm simply irresistible.
And in control of his soul.
I hope you read the
So
file
yeah.
I gave you and read it real well. Between the lines, you'll find the sign.
That's actually
Got my
true.
stuff.
Reading that file
Come
will
on
give us
in.
some clues as to what to do in the
You know,
game.
on the way over here, I got to thinking about these Dark Souls. If they're so damn dangerous, why didn't the ancients just destroy them?
Because that's impossible. Their power is their immortality. If evil ever manages to implant these immortal souls into its monstrous slaves, can you imagine the carnage an immortal, unbeatable army would bring to the earth? That's Apocalypse, Shadowman. That's the end.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so I really gotta get to the Dark Souls before the bad guy. I understand that, but where do I find him?
In
Gobi,
Deadside.
each Gobi has been sealed by the most powerful voodoo. Not even the greatest Bokor or Mambo can open them to release the dark soul within. Believe me, I've tried. But a Shadow Man, or something even more powerful, just might be able to do it.
Oh yeah, we can do
Release
it.
the dark soul and take it into yourself. But be warned, the dark souls are a pure and ancient evil and possess a power that should not be abused.
Okay. Let's just get this thing over with. You got my stuff?
Right here.
Oh,
Jesus, Luke. He's alive. Alive and in pain. I gotta help him.
He's dead, Mike. You know that.
I know, but I saw.
It's understandable that you still have strong feelings for your brother. That's why the bear works for you,
Yeah.
connecting you to Deadside. Use it now, Mike. Go Deadside and find Jonty. He's waiting for you at the Marrow Gates. He's got something to show you.
Okay.
this is where it gets
and Mike,
good.
Yeah?
if you need me, I'll be here. Now, go see Jonty and get them dark souls.
Okay, so the teddy bear is Mike's connection to his murdered brother, to his family and to his past, and therefore it's his connection to Deadside.
There's no time to waste. Use Luke's bear and go Deadside.
I will. Get off my back, woman. Ooh, hello. Yeah, expect plenty of that. Lots of big block pushing in this era. So those are the Govi. And those are what's beating there. Very nice indeed. Yeah, all of Mike's family were murdered, if I remember correctly. So we got the gun, we got the handgun, which is meh, not that great. Luke's teddy bear is what allows us to transport to Deadside. So I suppose we should go and do that now, really. I love that image of the teddy bear. That is so cool.
Come on, Slowpoke.
Very cool. That transition I've always loved. Oh, thank you. Those hints didn't come up in the original.
The Lord of Deadside. Shadowborn at the confluence of worlds to walk between. Lifeside is without the meaning that my partly living possesses here in Deadside, where the darkness is manifest at the edges of reason. As a god, I step forth upon the writhing, suppurating surface of the Deadside serpent. What sleep is here? What dreams there are in the unctuous coilings of the snake's mortal shuffling. Weapon in my hand, the arcing death blow at the end of all things. The horror. I embrace it.
Okay, so now we're in Deadside, and now we are Shadow Man. And now we've got a gun, which is the Shadow Gun. It's very, very good. Much better than what we had before. And these are the wretched souls of Deadside, which Shadow Man can blow up and take their energy. It actually fires souls, if you look. Very, very strange. And they shriek around the dead things of Deadside and rip them apart, physically rip them apart. It's very cool. There is a dark soul up there, but I can't reach it up the Bloodfalls yet. Not yet, anyway. Okay. I love the metaphysics of Deadside, I really do. It's very cool. Oh yeah, you can go into sniper mode as well if you want. Oh, that's cool! It's such a grim game. There's absolutely no hope here. There's no... I mean, yeah, we're fighting Legion, but what of it? There's the Asylum, by the way. But what of it? How is Legion's metaphysics any different from the existing metaphysics of Deadside? That's what I want to know. I love the nihilism of it. And even Shadow Man himself says it. It's the asshole of the universe. It's like creation in this universe is just the effluent of a dying engine. That's
Over
it.
here, Michael.
Hey, Jaunty, hello.
Hello there, Michael. How's that treating you?
Better than that accent,
Kindly
that's for
refer
sure.
to me as Shadow Man. Michael Leroy has no place here in Deadside.
Whatever, Mick. It's good to see you again. Seems like simply ages since I last set me eyes on your happy, smiling mug.
The feeling's mutual.
I suppose you've been away dallying with the old battle axe, giving her one with some of that righteous voodoo so she can stay forever young?
Something like that.
She's been filling your head with her fated pillow talk again, I'll bet. Doomsday in an army giddy until you're drunk with the stuff.
She did happen to mention a certain prophetic dream she's been having.
Did she now? Well, for once I think the owl witch might be right. See that bloody big black tower yonder?
How could I miss it?
Well, old Bruegel, the medieval painter blokey, was just telling me the other day that he thought it looked remarkably like a picture he once did.
Is that Peter Bruegel?
No, Seamus, his distant Irish cousin. Anyways, he was quite shocked, so he was, at the terrible mess that bloody thing's making. Appearing out of nowhere and tearing its way through the place like there's no tomorrow. Which, given what Nettie's saying, might not be too far from the truth.
Any idea what's going on in there?
Nope, and I shan't be knocking on the front door to find out neither. All
Nah.
I'd say is, if there's something wicked heading this way, it'll be coming from in there.
Nettie mentioned the Dark Souls. Can you tell me any more about them?
I'm afraid I'll have to reply in the negative again, Michael. Suffice it to say, Nettie's told me that they're bloody powerful, well nigh indestructible, and shouldn't fall into the wrong hands.
Any idea where they might be?
What am I, a Dark Soul travel guide now?
Nah.
Suppose you could try all of the ancient sacred places down amongst the whalers and shiverers. I just hope that none of them souls have ended up in that filthy big black tower.
From what Nettie was saying, some of them already have.
Oh, yeah.
Which is all the more reason for me to be pushing on. Open the gates, Jaunty.
Places to go, people to see, eh, Michael?
Just open the gates, Jaunty.
Did I ever tell you about the time me and Attila the Hun were playing skittles with the guillotine heads of the French aristocracy?
Jaunty.
All right, keep your bloody hair on. Which, looking at your shining bonds, may prove to be rather difficult. Open sesame!
I like his hat.
And if you be wanting to pop by and chat a while, I'll still be here. It's just a shame we can't share a drop of the hard stuff together by a ardent peat fire.
I don't drink. With snakes.
Nah. Okie dokie, so that's Jaunty. He's one of the advisor characters, effectively. You can come back here if you get stuck and he'll give you vague advice on where to go. Now, there should be music around here, I'm sure. You gonna die? I'm sure in the original game there was a soundtrack here, or have we not got there yet? Where the soundtrack kicks in. No, there should definitely be.
This is the dead side. The wasteland. The nothing beyond the bone-packed gates. Here Luke, my dear lost brother, wanders alone amidst the aimless ranks of those who cannot die. He still, with the ache for death, I too may discover within my blighted heart. Here, the true darkness at the heart of all things is made real. What we see in Death's dominion is as void as a dead man's gaze, as cold as the light from a dying star.
Ah, there we go. Oh, the music, the soundtrack to this game is awesome. Easily one of the best things about it. It's so moribund, it's so grim. Love it to bits. Okay, so, and there are now multiple ways we can go to do different things. You see those drums down there? If I had a certain item, I could actually use them to activate a... You see that? They're sucking my life energy out of me. That's why you don't show them any mercy. There's a certain item you can get. It's a bone, and you can use it to bang the drums, and it will activate these things. These doors here, which is kind of cool, right? Oh, walked into the fire. Oh, you see the flying ones? They are bastards. We hate them. Everybody hates them. The structure of this game is fantastic. The level design is brilliant. As I say, it's not open world, but it's close. There is a linear path to take, but it's open enough that it feels open world, effectively. And there are choices. I mean, there are different ways you can go and different ways you can approach the game. Like, it's quite possible to get quite a few of the Dark Souls before you go into the Asylum. And that's what I'm going to endeavour to do. And I'm going to see if I can get some of the... Shadow Man can be upgraded with these tattoos, these sort of mystical tattoos that allow him to traverse different areas of the game a bit easier. One of them lets him swim in the blood, one of them lets him climb up the blood falls, one of them makes him immune to fire, you know, that kind of thing.
Got it.
It's a very traditional structure. It's Zelda. Effectively, it's a 3D Zelda. It's not much different from the structure of Ocarina of Time, in fact, which was a contemporary of this game. It's just got a much darker ethos, obviously, than Ocarina of Time. Okay. I do love Deadside. I love it to bits. It's very pretty. And it's a matter of atmosphere, too. Much of which is enhanced by that gorgeous soundtrack. The more Dark Souls we get, the more powerful this Shadow Gun's going to become as well. This new auto-aim feature that it's got going on is brilliant. Very, very nice indeed. Apparently this remastered version of the game is much bigger, and the original game was big. I mean, really bloody big. So this is going to be well, it'll be a nice sort of endeavour alongside Elden Ring. Obviously, this is not as big as Elden Ring, because no game in history is as big as Elden Ring. And this is much more straightforward, obviously. I love the lighting effects, look. Using the gun to light your way here in the darkness, that's fun. I like that. Oh, hello. Yeah. Want as many of them as I can possibly get. Now, where am I going? That's the way I came in. So, let's have a look around. There's probably a way up somewhere. There usually is. Here we are. Lovely. They're a bit more aggressive than in the original game. I like how pathetic they are, though. I mean, they're not aggressive, they're scavengers. I mean, they don't have any choice in the matter in what they're doing, you know? That's what makes it all the sadder. I mean, what you're doing here is kind of negative. Oh, okay. We're not necessarily a good guy here, which I like. Okay. God, just give a minute to that soundtrack, why don't you? It is so good. Ooh. Ooh, a slight change, a shift down here. Wow! This is one of the more aggressive ones. Okay, now, again, choice of ways here, choice of ways. We can carry on across, or we can go down the way. I think I'm going to go down the way for now. As I say, there are lots of items to discover in this game. Lots and lots of secrets. And it's one of those games where you get different endings depending on how much of the game you do. Like how much you pick up. Whoa, hello. Oh, look at him hawking horrible stuff at me. I do believe these things are called Duffies, which is actually a creature in voodoo lore. It's like a zombie. That's another thing. The game, although it takes massive liberties, obviously, it kind of reinvents voodoo for its own purposes. There is some sincere voodoo lore in it, which is kind of cool. In the same way that there is reference to real-life serial killers. Ahaha, I see where we are now. There is a map, but it's kind of obscure and difficult to follow. Really, you just got to keep track. Oh yeah, you see him? Yeah, I see him. Oh, there's two of them. Crap. That's not so good. Goodbye! I love the way they explode into blood. I think that's really cool. Oh, yes. The more of them we can get, the better. We can trade those at a particular temple to upgrade our health. Which is going to be very necessary, believe me. Deadside isn't the friendliest of places, as you may have guessed. Can I get up there? No, I cannot. But I might be able to if I go around the other way. I love the pathfinding in this game. You've just got to, like... There is a slightly old-fashioned quality to it, in the sense that you've just got to do it yourself. You've got to think about it and remember. No, there's no fast traveling in this game or anything like that. There is a real vision behind it. There's a sense that the creators really wanted to communicate something with this game, and I like that. Ooh. Nope, nothing. Hello? Ahaha. Now, I can get across there. It's going to be tricky, but I can do it. Hang on. Huh? Hey, got it. Now, what have we got here? Ahaha. Oh, fuck. Oh, where did you come from? Hocking your phlegm at me. Thank you. Lovely. There are temples and things like this everywhere in Deadside. Every fucking where. God, the controls are much updated. I've got to say, they're much more precise than they used to be. This is a really good remaster. Uh-oh. It feels much more fluid than the original Shadow Man. Of course, I'm used to playing it on PC with a keyboard, so... one thing you desperately do not want to do is play the PlayStation version, the original PlayStation version. Sadly, it was really rushed. I don't know why, but the original PlayStation version of this game is awful. And that was my first experience of it as well. Sadly, that was my first experience of it. As you can see, we've opened a shortcut now. How cool is that? Yay! Okay. But the original PlayStation version is a mess of a thing. It's graunchy, it's broken, you can't really play it. To be perfectly honest, it's almost impossible to play that game. Whereas the N64 version, although it's incomplete because certain parts of it that were deemed too disturbing were cut out, it's still a fairly decent version of the game. But the PC version and the Dreamcast version are generally regarded to be the best. Up until this one, of course. This one is much more complete by all accounts. And this one even has the cut content from the original game. There was a lot that was cut out of the original game, just for, not for morality's sake, but for just for technological limitations. This has them all put back in, which is nice. Okay, so where did we go last time? Went down there, I believe, last time. Ow, 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 I need to stop walking in the fire. That's not a clever thing to do. Okay. There are so many ways and places to go in this game. It's really wonderful. I love that. I love that about it, to be honest. It's a real adventure game. Like a really good old-fashioned adventure game where there are ways and passages and secrets all over the feckin' place. How can you not love that? Okay. Ah. So there's a passage over here that we didn't go down last time. I'm going to have a look. And all the details in the background as well. It's beautiful. It really is a stunner of a game. It's generally not as well regarded as the likes of Soul Reaver, and certainly not as Resident Evil, but you know what, I love it. I do love it. Ahaha. So we're back here. Okay. You see what I mean? It seems big and expansive, but actually it's reasonably linear. But it's very well designed. It's designed so that it doesn't feel linear, which is a really clever thing to do for games of this era. Uh-oh. Oh, Duppy. You're gonna die. Well, you're already dead, but you're gonna die more. Ah, okay. I love the new lighting effects. That's very pretty, I've got to say. Very pretty indeed. Anything? Ooh. We're getting closer to the asylum here. Can you see that? I mean, actually, the metaphysics of this game partially inspired one of the metaphysics that I created, which is the metaphysics of Aberrice. It's not a million miles away from that of the asylum. The only difference is my Aberrice is much more redemptive. This is not. This is hideous and evil and brilliant in that regard. Okay, we've been there. Huh? It is very easy to get lost in this game, like very easy, as you can see. But that's also part of the appeal. You know, this kind of game that gave you this degree of longevity was much sought after back in this era, because most games were not this long. They just weren't. So we just came across there. I'm just going to have a look down this way, see if there's any... No, we've been here. Okay, I think we've exhausted this area. I think, anyway. I'm going to explore every area we come to, because I want to get as many Dark Souls as I can before we go into the asylum, and as many abilities as I can before we go into the asylum. Okay. Speaking of, we're not that far away now. I love the fact when you come up on them, they're weeping and they're clawing at themselves. Ah, an asylum gate. He channels his energy and blasts it apart.
I'm the Lord of Deadside.
And the more Dark Souls you have, the more of these gates you can open. They tend to be color-coded, so they have like purple coloration around that ring, and it depends on how many Dark Souls you've got, which ones you can actually blast open. So the more the better.
I ought to go visit Nettie.
Ah, yes, because we have a new location, and
Looks like someone left me a note.
so it does. So it does. And I think, my loves, when we come back, we will go and speak to Nettie. But until next time, my loves, bye-bye.